Welcome to my Alaskan adventure. So today I'm going to be sharing just some of the clips of my Alaskan cruise. So I took a cruise on the Discovery Princess in June of 2022, and I'm going to be sharing just some magical clips of the scenery, a bunch of the wildlife that we saw, like these little cute harbor seals right here that were sunbathing on this rock. We're going to see icebergs and glaciers from the ship, and just truly some of the most immaculate views I have ever seen in my entire life. Alaska truly was just outstanding. Pristine waters like this, the green lush foliage, the snow-capped mountains, and all the wildlife. It truly made for just an exceptional trip. So strap on in. I hope that you will enjoy hearing a little bit about each of the ports we went into and seeing some of the footage from the trip. This Alaskan adventure starts in Seattle, Washington, where the port is. We only had a couple of hours here the morning of boarding the ship, but we spent the majority of our time in this public market center. We, of course, first off, had to go to the original Starbucks that is located right in the Pikes Public Market in downtown Seattle there, and we went in and got a coffee. We did go really early. This was about 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning, so it wasn't too terribly crowded, but it definitely had, a fair bit of people in there. So they have a lot of little souvenirs and things that you can pick up from there. I didn't get anything because I was trying to be mindful of how much stuff that I would have to haul back to St. Louis in my suitcase. But just a really cool atmosphere being able to go into that first Starbucks. And that's located, like I said, right down in the downtown Seattle area. Then right next to the Starbucks, we went to this place called Pierogi that sold, if you can imagine, pierogies and different pierogies and things like that, little croissants. And we got just like a quick little bite to eat here for breakfast that morning. It was so good. Highly recommend if you just need something kind of quick. So these next few clips are just some footage of inside the Pikes Public Market and just kind of walking around. Vendors were setting up. There were beautiful flowers everywhere. Lots of meat markets, restaurants that you can eat at with water views, little seafood markets that I was obsessed with this. I wish that we had stuff like this in St. Louis. The size of these shrimp, it's making me hungry just looking at it. And of course, in the Pikes Public Market, we had to go to the infamous gum wall. So it's just what you can imagine. It is a wall that people stick a lot of their gum onto. And so this was fun to see. And of course, I had to stick gum myself on the wall because, when in Seattle, got to do all those touristy things, right? So I did stick a piece of gum on the wall. I noticed in Seattle when we were downtown, there was just so much kind of artwork throughout the city. I would love to go back and be able to explore a little bit more because there was just a lot of really beautiful kind of murals on the walls. This is that Pikes fish market where they throw the fish around. I never was able to capture it on video, but I did see the fish being thrown around, and that was a really cool thing to see. I just had to record those little people singing because I thought that was so interesting. But we had lunch, had some clam chowder, and then we got on our ship, which was the Discovery Princess. This thing was just gigantic. So this is on deck of the ship the first day when we were getting ready to sail away from Seattle. Here I am documenting our breakfast because the view was just so pretty, and the food on this cruise, you guys, outstanding. I ate smoked salmon multiple times. The ship just is exceptionally beautiful. So this is like the main little lobby area. And then this clip is just a quick piece of footage from our balcony. So we were right over the lifeboats, but had, that nice view of the water that first day at sea. Welcome to Ketchikan, Alaska. This is the first stop on the cruise for us. Ketchikan calls itself the salmon capital of the world because of their old salmon canneries. So this first few bits of clips are just from the boat ride that we took in Ketchikan, and we did some whale watching and saw some fun stuff. So I'm going to be quiet and let you guys enjoy seeing the animals. So next up, we stopped at a old salmon cannery. So obviously this building doesn't look too hot. This cannery is no longer, in service. It has not been a working cannery since 1959, but this area had just the most beautiful views. And I just love seeing that old building with like the water and the mountains. I thought it was just exceptional. We also went to the Saxman Village totem poles. This was really interesting. Ketchikan has a lot of great history and a lot of native culture to the area. And so we learned all about the different totem poles and what all of those things mean. And we saw this little slug, which I thought was pretty amazing, a big slug, and walked through this really dense, lush forest. I wish we would have more time to spend in here because I would have loved to walk around and do some hiking in here because it was just so beautiful and it had plants that I have never seen before. So yeah, it was just a really exceptional day in Ketchikan, and to be honest, probably one of my favorite days in Alaska. I just thought the views and the history were just, so amazing and couldn't be beat. So I really enjoyed this day. This next part is cruising in Endicott Arms, the fjords, and truly this was my favorite part of the trip. Just look at these views. About midday, after we got done cruising in the fjords, we headed to Juneau. And so this is just some of the views pulling into Juneau from the boat. Our first stop after getting off of the boat in Juneau was to the beautiful Mendenhall Glacier. You can see it there in the distance. And so these next few clips are just of me at the glacier, taking lots of footage around it and just kind of marveling in the majesty of it. Next, we headed on our whale watching excursion, and we are one of the lucky people, I will say. We got to see not only humpback whales, but also orca whales, which for me was just a huge highlight of the day. The tour said that only 10% of their whale watching exhibitions see orca whales, and so we were pretty excited that we got to see them and experience them. So the ship found a little pod, and we kind of hung out with that pod for probably a good 20 to 30 minutes, just kind of following them and watching them come up to the surface. It was just, what a great day. The day in Juneau between the Endicott Arms and the Mendenhall Glacier and the whale watching, hands down, was the best day in Alaska. This last little bit is a statue of Patsy Ann the dog. Long story short, Patsy Ann is a blind dog, and she would sit at the cruise ship port and greet guests as they came off of the cruise ship into Juneau. This is Skagway, and this is right outside of our ship. Oh my goodness, all of these like paintings and different cruise ship things all on the rocks here, some dating back to like the early 70s. It was really interesting, and it made me wonder how people got up so high to be able to even accomplish that. We are finishing this day in Skagway with a ride in the train, taking the White Pass and Yukon Route Railway. Last stop on our tour is Victoria, Canada. This was the first time that I'd ever been to Canada, and let me tell you, Victoria is just absolutely stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. We took a walking tour throughout the city and got to see some of the cool sites, neighborhoods, old houses, the legislative building there, the famous Empress Hotel. And then at the end, you'll see my favorite sculpture that I saw. Not that I saw too many, but definitely my favorite sculpture that I saw on the whole trip. It was a great way to end this Alaskan adventure. But that will do it for this vlog. I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing everything that I saw on my Alaskan cruise. And I will talk to you guys very soon in my next one. Bye.